Jake, you never responded to the challenge. You publicly stated that I use cocaine. I do not. So I told you you could randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you.
And our pretty Jake Paul has never been one to back down from a heated debate, especially when it involves stirring up drama. And this whole fighter pays crusade? Oh, he's leaning in hard, portraying himself as the noble warrior standing up for underpaid MMA athletes. The guy who made his name pulling pranks and stirring chaos on YouTube is now acting like he's the Robin Hood of the fight world. He loves to rattle off numbers that definitely grab your attention. $600,000. That's what he claims top-tier UFC heavyweights make on average. And then he hits you with the comparison. $30 million, the jaw-dropping payday for heavyweight boxing champs. According to Jake, it's a massive injustice, and naturally, he positions himself as the only hero brave enough to call it out. But let's not kid ourselves. Dana White isn't buying a word of it, and he's coming in hot with sarcasm so sharp it might as well have blades. Dana openly scoffs at Jake Paul's supposed grasp of fighter pay and the business behind it. It's almost comical.
Do you think he's not paying fighters fairly?
It's all greed and it's all going to fill Dana White's pockets.
Dana White blasted Jake Paul for accusing him of using cocaine, so White had it.
I mean, Dana, the mastermind who transformed the UFC into a global powerhouse. Listening to a YouTuber lecture him about finances? Yeah, no. Dana lays it out, telling Jake that if he really thinks he's so clever, he should stop whining and start his own MMA organization. He even throws down a sarcastic challenge, saying it's easy to do, with that eye-roll tone that implies the complete opposite. It's like Dana daring Jake to put his millions where his mouth is and learn just how brutal running a fight promotion can be.
He didn't even know half the guys' fucking names on the card. And the list goes on with that guy.
Khabib, he retired. Do you think there's ever a chance that Khabib would come back and fight? Is there a number that you can say, Khabib, we got 20 million, we got 25 million?
I threw the numbers at him, trust me.
This isn't just playground banter, though. It's a collision of two massively different worlds. On one side, you have Dana White, who has built the UFC into the gold standard of mixed martial arts, working with absolute legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov, who left the sport undefeated and untouchable. On the other side, you've got Jake Paul, whose entire combat sports career is a series of viral marketing stunts against retired, often smaller MMA stars. Jake wants to paint Dana as this greedy tycoon making bank off the sacrifices of underpaid athletes, but Dana sees right through the act. He's calling Jake out as a self-serving fraud who only pretends to care about fighter welfare when it suits his brand.
He's making money. If you can...
you making real money, Dana, or are you making...
I don't know. That I don't know. I don't know what he's really making.
And let's talk about Jake's so-called crusade for fighter pay. It gets even funnier when you consider his own fight lineup. He's made millions boxing against guys like Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, fighters who are retired, out of their prime, and much smaller than Jake. Meanwhile, Jake keeps bragging about his earnings, as if that makes him a champion of justice. Dana finds it laughable, and honestly, it does come off as a bit hypocritical. If Jake truly wanted to make a difference, he'd probably be doing more than just talking.
And was also considered a boxer, and he lost. So if you can keep fighting fucking 50-something-year-olds...
You don't think Tyson has a chance?
And making a living at it. I think that Mike Tyson has a puncher's chance against anybody.
Now, with the added spectacle of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, things get even messier. Mike Tyson is a living legend, sure, but he's also pushing 60. The dude isn't the unstoppable force he once was, the guy who could knock a man senseless in seconds. Yet here he is, about to face off against Jake, a guy 3 decades younger. The age gap is almost insulting, and critics like Bernard Hopkins aren't shy about calling it out. Hopkins, who knows a thing or two about longevity in boxing, says Jake and Tyson shouldn't even be in the same conversation.
Hey, guys that box for a living and guys that are your age. How about that?
He says he wants to fight Canelo. I'm just saying what he... That's what he...
hear you. Then why is he not fighting Canelo?
Canelo, I don't think Canelo wants to waste his time.
But let's face it, as much as people criticize, they can't resist the spectacle. It's like watching a train wreck you can't look away from. The idea of a 58-year-old Mike Tyson landing one of his legendary punches on Jake Paul's face, that's the stuff of viral dreams. Former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub breaks down the possibilities. If Jake knocks out Tyson, everyone's going to call him a bully for beating up an old man. If Tyson knocks out Jake, it's game over for Jake's boxing credibility. The worst-case scenario?